Being a gym leader is possibly the easiest task in the world. Your job as a gym leader is to stand at a gym and await your challenges. And the challenges have to beat you to earn a gym badge. So what happens if the gym leader doesn't do as they're told? Well, we have two instances of this happening in the Pokemon games Gold, Silver, Crystal, and Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Technically the same games, Generation 2. Technically the same games, because Heart Gold and Soul Silver are remakes of Generation 2. So, let's dive right in. There are two gym leaders in this entire game that straight up, not refuse to give you the gym badge. Well, one does refuse to give you the gym badge, but the other one acts like a spoiled child. So, I'm not going to run over all the gym leaders. You can just look that up yourself if you don't know who they are. But I'm going to be targeting two particular gym leaders in this video, because these two particular gym leaders, I feel like they are the worst gym leaders ever. They are the worst gym leaders ever, not because they're hard to beat, but because they act like spoiled children just because you, the player, manage to defeat them. We've got Whitney, the third gym leader of Goldenrod City, and the final gym leader, Claire, of the 8th gym leader in Blackthorn City. These two gym leaders are easily the worst gym leaders. Why are they the worst? Well, let's dive right in. So let's start off with Whitney, since she is the third gym leader, and she'll be the first one you will be facing. She only has 2 Pokemon on her team, and both of them are normal types, Clefairy and Miltank. Wait, hang on, I need to correct that. You face Whitney, who has 2 Pokemon and will only have 1 normal type. She's a normal type specialist, but she only has 1 normal type, that being Miltank. Because Clefairy is a Fairy type Pokemon. Yes, Fairy was introduced in Generation 6, and Heart Gold and Soul Silver were brought into Generation 4, but as we all know now, Clefairy is a Fairy type, not a normal type. But in those games, it was still a normal type. But let's just forget about all that. Those are the Pokemon she ends up using in the gym battle. So, majority of the time, the Clefairy isn't that big of a deal. It's very, very easy to defeat. It's not that difficult. The Pokemon that people spend the most time on is Whitney's Miltank, because this Miltank is a pile of Garbodor. This Miltank will know Stomp, basically flinching you every turn. It will spam Rollouts, because Rollout will get stronger every time it connects. It has Attract, which makes your Pokemon fall in love. If you're a male Pokemon, which majority of the time you will have male Pokemon, and also it'll have Milk Drink, where it will heal its HP, making things annoying. So this Miltank has possibly the most meanest and the most rudest moveset of all time. And also, her Miltank is also holding a Lumberry, so that way it will prevent you from paralyzing it, poisoning it, or anything else. So that way you can gain an extra advantage. So stupid. How in the world? So stupid, but it's whatever. But if you manage to get past this Miltank, if you manage to overcome all the odds and take down that Miltank, and as I said before in this video, your job as a gym leader is to accept defeat, pass over the gym badge like a sport, and congratulate the trainer. But what does Whitney do? Whitney cries like a spoiled child. She cries and cries and cries. She calls you a meanie. She calls you a cheater and all this other stuff. She cries like a spoiled child because she didn't win. I looked it up. She's 16 years old. How in the world do you give a teenager the responsibility of being a gym leader? How? One of the other gym leaders in this game, Jasmine, is also a teenager. 17 years old, and she handles losing better than this woman. It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous that a 17-year-old gym leader can handle losing more than a 16-year-old Whitney. It is bizarre to me how this woman is still in charge of a gym. I don't know how she's still in charge of that gym after doing this all the time. Do you want to know how I know she does this all the time? Because once you beat her and she cries like a child, one of the gym leaders, one of the trainers that you battle in that gym, comes up to you and tells you this is something that Whitney does all the time. Every time she loses, this is exactly what she does. She cries all the time she loses. Are you serious? Are you serious? She does this all the time? Call the damn authorities! Call the damn Pokemon League and tell them that one of our gym leaders is so irresponsible that she cries every time she loses. Yes, she does eventually give you the badge, but oh, it's so ridiculous. It's so stupid how this girl basically cries every time she loses. Someone needs to contact the Pokemon League and tell them to remove this girl as gym leader. If I'm gonna get another Heart Gold and Soul Silver remakes, if we ever go back to Johto again, I do not want to see this woman as gym leader. I want a new gym leader in charge of Goldenrod because this girl is so irresponsible. This girl is so irresponsible and she can't even do her job right. So, let's move on to the second victim in this video. That is Claire. The difference between Claire and Whitney, Claire is clearly an adult. She's clearly a grown adult, possibly in her early to mid-20s. I'm not really trying to guess, but the only reason why I knew Whitney was 16 years old is because I quickly Googled it before I did this video to see how old she was before I was incorrect with my assumptions. But I couldn't find the age of Claire, so I'm just assuming Claire is in her 20s, and she looks more like an adult than Whitney does. So, Claire is a Dragon-type specialist in this game, in the Johto games, Generation 2. She has 4 Pokemon. She has a Gyarados, 2 Dragonairs, and a Kingdra. Now, Gyarados is not a Dragon type. I just want to point that out. Gyarados is not a Dragon type. It is a Water Flying type, but it just looks like a dragon. So, oh, it counts. It looks like a dragon, so it counts. As for Kingdra, Kingdra is the final evolution of Horsea, which Kingdra was introduced in that generation, Generation 2. So, logically speaking, Horsea and Seadra was the entire evolutionary line in Generation 1, and they only gave it an evolution in Generation 2. So this is the first Pokemon that actually received a new evolution following moving on to another game. And the way to evolve Seadra into Kingdra is to give it a Dragon Scale. So yeah. While also trading. So that's the other thing. But besides the point, Claire is possibly worse than Whitney. Whitney may be a teenager, and she may be a sulky loser, but at least she gives you the gym badge. Claire, on the other hand, when you beat her, if you manage to get past her Gyarados, her 2 Dragonairs, and her Kingdra, when you beat her, she flat out refuses to give you the badge. No badge, no rising badge for you. You don't deserve it. You got lucky. That's what Claire will claim. Claire will claim you got lucky, you are not ready for the Pokemon League, and she will not give you this badge. She will then task you to go to the Dragon's Den to run an errand for her to prove you are worthy of being in the possession of the gym badge that she is going to present you. So, in the original Gold and Silver, the only thing you had to do was get a Dragon Fang, and she'd give you the badge. But in the remakes, you gotta do a quiz. You walk into one of the houses in the Dragon's Den. Yes, there is a house in an underground cave. And the elderly man is not surprised to see a young trainer coming to the gym, coming to their house. And he straight up knows why you're here, because he knows Claire has done this so many times. He tells you that he's aware that Claire brought you here because he knows Claire has done this many times before to other gym trainers. Man, imagine trying to trying to employ yourself for the Pokemon League and running into two gym leaders that are so incompetent and so bad at their jobs. Claire is the worst one of them all. So after you clear the trial that Claire puts you through, Claire does arrive and she asks you, how did she go in your trial? She basically expected for you to fail. And then when she finds out that you actually did clear the task, do you think she gave you the badge? Of course not! She thinks you cheated! She thinks you're lying! She thinks you're lying and you're full of crap and you actually did fail. How is this woman so incompetent? And so the elderly guy in their house demands her to hand over the badge, otherwise she will contact the champion of the Pokemon League, which is Lance in this game, and tell him about her actions. And only then she gives you the gym badge. These gym leaders are terrible. These are the only two gym leaders that do this, by the way. I know they probably wanted to make it interesting, but you're a gym leader, and your responsibility is to hand over the badge when you win. Can you imagine if Brock, Misty didn't hand over their badges? Imagine if Nessa didn't hand over her gym badge? Imagine if every gym leader was salty and they just never wanted to give you their gym badges. I get losing a Pokemon battle is annoying. I get it's not fun to lose. But as a gym leader, that's your responsibility. Your responsibility is to lose to the challenger. The challenger's supposed to beat you to make progress, to get into the league. In Sword and Shield, I actually want to point this out in Sword and Shield. This has nothing to do with this video, but in Sword and Shield, Nessa, yes, Nessa, because she comes up to you and tells you this after you beat Kabu, the third gym leader. She straight up tells you and your character and your rival Hop that she ends up saying not many gym trainers manage to beat all three of them, because they would usually give up after they fight Kabu, because Kabu is so strong that usually gym trainers give up on the gym challenge. So it's not because neither of them hand over their badges. It's that usually the three of them are usually quite strong, that usually most trainers can't get past usually the third gym leader. So I just wanted to briefly bring that up because I thought that was a nice interesting detail to show how much the gym challenge, how sometimes the gym challenge can be grueling. And I sometimes think to myself, man, imagine if you're a gym leader, imagine if you're a trainer, you've got all 7 badges, and you couldn't compete in the Pokemon League, all because Claire wouldn't give you the last one, because she didn't think you were worthy of having the badge, and she'd make you run errands. It's absolutely mind-blowing to me how this woman is gym leader. Again, Claire and Whitney should not be gym leaders. They should not be gym leaders because they can't take an L like a real person. Like a real... I can't really call them men because they're women, but they just can't take an L. They just can't take an L. They have to cry and make excuses. So, that's the end of this video. That's the point of this video I wanted to make. To let you know that gym leaders are supposed to be people that are supposed to battle you, you win their badges, and they give you the badge. But these two particular people are the worst because they were really stubborn and selfish in giving you their gym badges. Thank you for watching. Hit that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video.